Henry McClure live. How are you all today? Hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend. I just wanted to say a few things that are on my mind today. I don't want to talk about my dad and his service to the United States. Actually, right there, that's his star chart that he had to put together. He wanted to be a pilot to, in World War II, but the smart guys became navigators. His dad actually got him a King's X car to be on the border guard down in El Paso, but he went ahead and joined the Army Air Corps. I've got his flag and his burial flag. I'll bring it over here in a second. Robert Austin McClure divorced my mom divorced him when I was 3, and I really never got to know my dad very well. I don't think as a child. I know my dad well now, and been able to come to terms with our relationship over time. They invented napalm during World War II, and the incendiaries actually killed more than the atomics. And my dad flew a lot of sorties over Japan, and he was 5 crews of 5 that trained to drop the atom bomb. I found the other day, I found some stuff, my mom's pass to get on to 29 Palms. They lived out in the desert. If you ever watch one of those old black and white movies, it's exactly like that. That's what they said. You know, the elegant, the tuxedos, the dresses, the uniforms, the champagne, the party till dawn. Mom said she used to have to drive them all home, when they're all passed out. Dad and his captain went out a lot. But I met a guy named Wes Carey when I lived out in Long Beach. And this was after Desert Storm. And Wes was the officer of the deck of the Mighty Missouri. If you watch the movie Under Siege, he's in that movie. They hired him to be like a consultant, an advisor to the movie. But, he's the guy that after you have a couple of drinks with him, he's coming over to your Thanksgiving. We used to play croquet, and it was a great way to pick up women. I mean, really, think about it. Oh, yeah, croquet? Yeah. We're meeting in the park, sunny day, wear your dress whites. You can, the women can wear colors if it matches their ball. But anyway, and Wes one day shows up to a croquet in his dress whites. I mean, that guy looked sharp. He had all sorts of ribbons. The guy had 2 bronze stars. So anyway, I got to know Wes. I got to have dinner on the Mighty Missouri twice. And when a guest picks up the menu, when a guest picks out the menu, the whole ship has to eat whatever I picked out. And it's so funny. Like the second time I came up, the Marine at the door, he goes, I knew it was you, because I ordered the same stuff twice. Fried chicken. I stood right where the Japanese signed, right where I stood right where they surrendered, where the surrender was signed. And coincidentally, my dad was the first B-29 to fly over the Mighty Mo right at that surrender. They had, I think, 1,200 B-29s in a flying V. And his captain said, you got to be right here at this time. right at this moment. So for a guy that kind of really didn't feel like he knew his dad very well, has one of the most historical events in the world in common. And I never knew that story until I showed him the Mo, or the piece of the surrender deck. And then Dad opened up, and it's kind of what it was like in the book that I'm writing. It's the day I met my dad. That was the day I met my dad, when he told me all that story. I mean, because he told me all the stories then. I mean, we spent all afternoon just him talking about his times in World War II. When he died, they had a 3-shot volley, 7 guns, shoot 3 times. I thought it was a 21 gun salute, but it's called a 3-shot volley. I guess that's still pretty important. So my grandfather, Clifford Bantleon, was in World War II. He was a lieutenant. He got some sort of designation called a Norbert Guard. James McClure was a chaplain in the Civil War. He was discharged here to Topeka, and then he was the 3rd guy at the First Presbyterian Church. He went around Kansas opening up Presbyterian churches. It's almost like he was a real estate guy. And then Henry Augustus Bantleon, who I'm named after, he joined the Civil War when he was 13 to get away from his dad, Henry. And he was discharged to Kansas City Mo. And then he was a conductor on the railroad, later on the foreman of the UP Railroad yard in Kansas City. We also have a cousin that was in the American Revolutionary War, and I'm a son of I can be a son of the American Revolution if I filled out the paperwork. That's my French heritage, and I'm proud of that French heritage. Never had to go to war. Used to watch it on TV. I would watch the nightly news and we had to change. You could watch what show you wanted to watch and sit in the big chair. And you had to change. I had to change with my brother John McClure on the half hour. It was pretty disgusting. Camilla, that vice president of ours, who just said, like, have a nice weekend. Like, it's a 3-day weekend, go get hammered. I just wanted to take a moment and memorialize my heritage. Thank my family members who were of service to their countries. I think Henry's cousin had like a second cousin, was Anthony Wayne, who was actually French, that fought with Lafayette to get us into the Sons of the American Revolution. You know what I think is even harder, though? I think sometimes for veterans, it seems like today, I think some of them think that dying, that made those guys the lucky one, that sometimes living with the fallout of war the military creates maybe a more difficult life. We shouldn't have veterans living in our mission. I hear about the veteran suicide rate. That's alarming. I understand my dad's alcoholism from the stories he told about flying the missions. I'm going on 7 years clean and sober. May 2nd, 2015. Hello, Charlie. You want to get in the picture? Put your feet up there. Come on, put your feet up. Oh, you can't see him. Oh, Charlie Wilson's still with me. Here. Woo, Charlie. There you go, buddy. You're a good boy. So the longer I become more grounded to the universe, it helps me understand a lot more my place and understand the humanity of being a parent. I'm going to tell you one other story, and I'm not saying it's this desk, but the desk I have was my dad's desk, and prior to my dad's, it was Harry Colmary, and Harry wrote the GI Bill of Rights. I knew Harry as a child. He'd take us down to a little breakfast joint on Kansas Avenue when Dad would go to work on Saturdays. The weekends we would be with Dad. Harry had a lot of foresight and was a wise man what he tried to do for veterans after World War II. We should all pitch in. Seems like today we're not Republicans and Democrats anymore. It almost seems like we're either Americans or non-American. I hope all the Americans can pull together and keep our country strong. Remember the pure fabric of what made our country what it is and keep our republic safe. I still believe capitalism is the best form for everybody to have a fair shot at succeeding. Well, anyway, happy Memorial Day. That's all I got. Sending you positive energy and love.